Let's meal prep for my youngest son today. So I am starting off by making his chicken nuggets. This is the only meat protein that Zai gets in his diet. Zai was diagnosed with a feeding disorder when he was 3 years old. He had been on formula until he was 3. And we had tried to transition him to table food with no success. And when we finally did get him to eat table food, it was only potato chips. So we ended up taking him to the children's hospital where he entered their intensive feeding program for 2 months. From there, we established a feeding routine for him that consists of this, what I'm showing you now. So I've been doing this so long that I don't really measure anymore. But if you would like to try this with your kids, the recipes will be in the description. So I'm making his lunch for today while I am doing this meal prep. And now I'm working on his sweet potato and banana puree. I got these sweet potatoes from Target for $1 each, which doesn't sound like a good deal, but sweet potatoes are very expensive. And these are really big. So it only takes 2 sweet potatoes and I can make at least 5 pouches out of this. But honestly, I need to figure out how to grow my own potatoes because it's getting expensive. And this is Zai's favorite puree, so I make a lot of it in one go and I just freeze the pouches. And whenever he goes through one, I'll take another one out of the freezer and let it thaw overnight in the refrigerator. So once I've got the potatoes peeled, I chop them into medallions and get them into a pot of water. These sweet potatoes are really big, like I said, so they are kind of hard to cut through. It's a workout for me. So for about 5 of these pouches, I would say they last me for, well, Zai for maybe 4 weeks with him eating off a pouch. Yeah, about 4 weeks. And that is with me paying $2 for the potatoes and maybe $3 for the bananas. So once I've got the potatoes together, I put them on the stove at medium-high heat. and I start working on his second puree, which is going to be a tropical fruit one. I get these bags from Target. It's just whatever I find that they have in stock that seems like something that he'll like. This one is the passion fruit tropical blend, so it has pineapples and guava, I believe, in it. So I get that into a steam rack. There's a little bit of water at the bottom of the pot. And these are some bananas that I have frozen over time, because bananas, they go bad quick, and we need all of our bananas, because Zai loves bananas. So I'm just chopping the bananas into fourths and putting them in the steamer with the other frozen fruit. The avocados I took out of the freezer earlier today, so they've been sitting on the counter getting to room temperature. You don't really want to steam avocados. They're going to brown on you, and they'll probably get stuck in between the holes of the grate of the steamer. So I put this on the stove at medium-low heat, and I keep those in there until the fruit seem like they have thawed all the way through. If they're not all the way thawed out, it's fine. They'll just be a little cold, which my son actually really likes. So I put a little splash of orange juice in there just for flavor, a little sweetness, and then I blend everything up. This is my Ninja blender. I've had this for years now, and once one of them stopped working, I bought another one. That's how good these things are. So that is one of the frozen pouches, just showing you what they look like coming out of the freezer. And you can just sit them out on the counter and let them thaw that way, or you can just put them in some warm water if you are in a time crunch and you need to feed him now. So I'm just putting these in these little pouches. I got these pouches off of Amazon. And the link will be in the description if you want to get these. So the rest in there, I'm just going to put in a little Tupperware for his lunch, because it's about time for him to eat again anyway. I'll put a little more in there because Zai likes his fruit. So the sweet potatoes have fully cooked through. I'm going to add some milk to it. We use almond milk because Zai is allergic to cow's milk. But you can, of course, use any milk of your choice in this recipe. So I blend the potatoes up a little bit before I start adding my bananas. The bananas, I don't use the frozen bananas for this recipe because they have sort of an acidic taste when they thaw or when I steam them. If they're with citrus fruit, like in the other recipe, you can't really tell, but with the sweet potatoes, you can taste it, the acidity. So with the sweet potatoes, I always use fresh bananas. And I used maybe 5 bananas in this, and I add a little lemon juice to keep the sweet potatoes and the bananas from browning from oxidizing, but also it gives a little more sweetness to the bananas. It brings the sweetness out of them. And as you can see, it is a full blender. I make a lot of this because Zai really goes through it. He loves it. And I'm using the Baby Breeza pouches for this one. They're a little bigger than the other pouches. And I really like that they're standalone and that they have this filter funnel thing to keep the pouch open so that I can just pour directly into there. It comes in handy. For the other pouches, as you can see, I have to scoop out the last little bits and put them into there because I am not about to waste any of this. So that is how I meal prep for Zai.